This reporter places the blame for all of this squarely on you, the viewers.
Would you say we'd be venturing into a zone of danger?
It doesn't matter what you think.
You're listening to the Our Take Podcast with Bryan Sherman.
He had a full head, all the way till the end. It was white, and I was hoping to get that. I was hoping to get like the full head, and it was really hard to cut it off.
And Spencer Rogers.
To be a good pilot, you have to be able to make good decisions. And I know what my credit score is, so I know I don't make good decisions.
This is the Our Take Podcast.
From Scary Parrot Media Studios in Ogden, Utah, it's the Our Take Podcast, episode 54. I'm Bryan.
I'm Spencer.
It is May 28th. On this day in history, Matthias Rust, a teenager, flew his single engine...
Invented Rust?
Yeah. He flew his single engine Cessna 500 miles from Helsinki and landed in Red Square at the height of the Cold War.
Whoa. Ballsy.
He evaded Soviet Union air defenses for 500 miles, landed his plane. He was greeted by bemused and friendly onlookers.
And rolled over by a tank?
But was arrested by the KGB, probably Putin, and later served 14 months in prison.
That's it?
Yeah. It was like a peace flight. He was 19, I think. Yeah, 19 years old.
Well, he's lucky he got just 2 years.
I know. Not even. 14 months.
Oh, yeah. What the hell? I
You're
was
at 7
thinking
months.
weeks.
Yeah, you were
7
thinking-
days in a week.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I thought I was more awake than that. I
Well,
guess I am not.
You had a trip. You
Yeah,
went to Pittsburgh.
I went to Pittsburgh this weekend because I don't know.
Vicksburg and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, and I went to the National Aviary. And for those of you that don't know what an aviary is, it is a
You can go.
it is a zoo for birds.
For birds.
That's it. Yeah.
Bird sanctuary.
Yeah, and this one is allegedly the biggest in the United States.
Huh.
However, I feel like the one here in Utah
Tracy.
is a little better.
We went to Tracy a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
Had a couple bald eagles.
good. Yep. But it was cool city. A little bit humid. The roads are terrible. Crumbling infrastructure. That sort of
Ugh.
thing.
Oh, man. Oh, man. So you went to a baseball game.
Yeah, I went to the Pirates game. They played the Dodgers, and there was a 2-hour rain delay.
Ugh.
So it didn't start till 9-something. And I'm not even joking when I say there were more Dodger fans there than Pirates fans. And I'm not exaggerating.
That's too bad.
I was in the row, and on both sides of me were all Dodger people, Dodger
Yeah.
fans. I can actually show you a picture of the crowd, and it's mostly blue. Like,
that's
it's
crazy.
insane. So I don't know. I asked them, and they said that Dodger fans travel well, and so I guess they just I don't know. I guess they
That's
just
a
go river.
Long way to travel
I know
for
right?
a regular season.
Right?
Like they play how many? They play like 180 games.
162, I
crazy.
think. Yeah, but so well.
How would you
I
feel
don't know.
if you were one of those players?
Yeah, man, that's what I was thinking. Like, gosh, I mean, the Pirates suck, but still.
Still, I mean, it's your team. You know,
I
you
know.
show some
Oh,
pride.
but I decided I want to start a reoccurring segment every time I go on a trip
Okay.
and rent a car, where I tell you the craziness about this
So
particular vehicle.
Last time it was you were trying to exit the freeway without using your signal. And
Yes.
lane assist tried to keep you
yes,
in your lane.
and there's a heated steering wheel.
Yes,
I couldn't turn
your
off.
hands were all sweaty.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this one, they allegedly upgraded me this time, but it didn't really feel like that big of an upgrade. It was just a Volkswagen Jetta.
Ooh,
Yeah, it was all right.
German.
I think I'd like my car better, but
cheaters.
yeah, right.
So like a 2018.
Yeah, it had to be new. It was definitely a newer model, but it had. I wish they'd warn you about some of these things before. So I was I had just picked up the car and I was gonna go to McDonald's. I was in the drive-thru. I pull up to order, and the car goes.
Yeah, it turns. Yeah,
It turned off.
you get the emissions thing.
Whoa, what the hell's going on? And then I just step off the brake, just a little,
Yeah.
it turns back on. I'm like, what is happening?
That we talked about.
I
That.
know,
It should
I know.
Be in like every car.
It was actually super annoying, and I would never use it. And you know what's even more annoying is when you turn it off, it still turns itself back on every time you turn on the car. Now,
What do you mean?
there's a button
Oh,
that you
I
can
see.
turn it
It
off,
defaults to
but
on.
it's always on.
Why don't you like
But
it?
let me explain to you the most annoying thing is that it's very hot and humid there, or it was.
yeah.
And as soon as that engine shuts off,
Yeah.
it's
that's
instantaneous.
That was what we talked about, was
Yeah.
climate control in your vehicle.
It's not like when it's humid like that,
Yeah.
it's like here it'd probably be okay. But it's just instantaneous, like, oh,
yeah.
gross.
AC turns off.
Yeah. And so that's why I kept getting rid of it. But I don't know. I guess if it saved a few walruses, then
Walry.
right.
I mean, I don't know. We've talked about idling cars.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
But is it like I don't know? As soon as you like release the brake just a little, it turns back on. So I feel like it
Yeah.
would just be so easy to just keep
See,
doing
the-
that on accident.
The car I drove in England, pretty sure you had to push the gas.
Oh,
I could be mistaken, but
I
I
mean,
feel like that's what it was.
I
Like,
will
turned
have
it
to
off.
say that it was like the transition was pretty flawless. Like
Yeah,
it
you
was
don't really-
pretty quick.
you don't
and
notice.
It wasn't really noticeable, but
Yeah.
it still was weird. It was weird.
Well, all going to be electric anyway.
Yeah, hopefully.
Did it speak German?
Yeah, it said some really racist thing. Some really pro-Trump. The Jetta was pro-Trump, oddly enough. It was
It's
just
weird.
crazy.
Yeah, Angela Merkel.
Something about the Reich will rise. I don't know. Anyway,
The Reich will rise from the south.
yeah. The South Reich.
The South Reich. Yes. Love
Speaking of the South Reich, no. So this is kind of a story from last week, a little bit older story, but a billionaire named Robert F. Smith, who I'm not familiar with. Are you familiar with Robert F. Smith?
it. No.
Well, so he gave a commencement address at Morehouse College.
Okay.
Okay. And in his commencement address, he pledged to pay off everyone's student loans in that graduating
Man,
class.
That is cool.
Let me tell you, okay, a couple things. What if I was the student who worked my ass off, working 2 jobs and going to college to stay out of debt? And then at graduation, he's like, hey,
Touche.
sucker.
Touche. It's like a prodigal son story.
Right?
Yeah. Like you're rewarding.
I would be so pissed.
You got like a sports scholarship, like a freaking like a good grade scholarship, whatever.
I worked at Starbucks in the morning and Kroger at night to slave away to pay off my school so I didn't have to go into debt. And this guy comes up and is like, sucks to be you, bro.
See, it's just no good deed.
I
This is
know.
why they don't do it. They should just give everyone a lump sum.
Right?
I mean, who can I tell? You know what I mean? We're being picky here.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, if I was that guy in there, I would have been.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed. I'm like, can I change my mind on some of those loans? Like,
Throw your cap on the ground.
like,
Let's see. He
Ugh.
is the 163rd richest person in America.
oh,
He is a former chemical engineer and investment banker.
oh,
Founder of private equity firm Vista Equity Partners.
oh,
Net worth of $4.4 billion.
dang.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of equity partners, have you watched the movie The Big Short?
Yes.
Would you mind explaining to me what it's about?
It's about the pre-recession and basically a guy betting on the short. So it's a term where you're betting against the stocks.
Right.
So
Right.
he invested like all of his firm's money
Yeah.
to the chagrin of his bosses.
It wasn't just there was a bunch of people that
against
did it.
That did it. He just did like the most. Christian
Right,
Bale's character, right?
right.
Against the stock market. He knew that it was going to fail because he was looking at trends in the housing market. He's like he's like a brilliant mind guy
Yeah,
or a beautiful mind.
mildly autistic.
Yeah.
Definitely crazy. But yeah.
He plays the drums.
yeah.
And obviously he was right.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money.
That movie. Now, as you know, lately I've kind of lost all faith in people in general, but that one really. Oh man, I watched it on my flight home, and I just was like, I can't believe all this happened. I hate people so much.
Yeah, it is a weird concept. Like, you own a business, and rather than someone coming to you saying, "I want to invest in your business," they're like, "I'll give you money. I'll bet you that you're gonna fail." That's basically what he was saying.
Yeah. Well,
I'll bet you're gonna fail.
I wasn't upset about them. I was upset about everything that led to
right.
the collapse.
All the lies.
I think
yeah.
whatever they stuck it to him, and that's fine.
Yeah, he.
And then only one person got jailed in all of that. They knew they were going to get a bailout, and it was just so that got me thinking about Thanos again, and and his snap, and I realized why it had to be a random snap. Like, he couldn't, select people, because if he snapped and killed all the shitty people, everyone would be dead. There wouldn't be anyone left.
Yeah. He's like, I thought it would kill half the world. It turns out there's
My bad.
Jesus is alive. Yeah, good old Thanos.
Yeah.
He was probably right.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, there's
he
no
just
justice.
went about it the wrong way, man.
There's no justice. Yeah.
You shouldn't have told anybody he was doing it.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah, why are you revealing your plan? Yeah. Oh man. So you brought up infrastructure.
Yeah. Crumbling infrastructure.
Do you hear what he did? Trump.
Yeah. Remind me.
So for people who don't know, there was a bipartisan deal
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
for $3 trillion.
That was
Money we don't have.
Yeah.
$3 trillion in infrastructure to bridges, airports, whatever. All of our infrastructure is. I think I read an article that said even with all the money, it would still take like 50 years to get us up to par.
It's different there than it is here. Like, here's great.
Yeah.
Utah's great. Like
they
California isn't that bad, but the East Coast, man. Everywhere I've gone over there has been kind of just dilapidated.
In the Midwest, like you were in the. Where'd you go before?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, yeah.
No, sorry, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Anyway, Pelosi and Schumer go to the White House too because it passed the Senate, it passed Congress, and they were just going to go work it out with the executive branch. How are we going to?
Yeah.
Where's this money coming from, and who are we going to give it to?
Right.
And he apparently didn't let them say a word and said, "If you want to invest, you have to stop investigating me.
Yeah.
No more investigations."
I mean, this is all something an innocent person would do, right?
Right.
Like,
it's just you're holding the country's infrastructure and jobs hostage over an investigation that you claim is false.
right.
If it's false, just let it go. Just let it play.
He can let things go. Did you see what he did in Japan that, like, even the Republicans are kind of incensed about?
No.
So he's in Japan watching sumo wrestling or something.
Yeah.
But he's giving one of his rants, and he because you know how everyone but him is all like worried about Kim Jong-un right now.
Yeah. Everyone but him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said, I think I agree with Kim. No, he said, Joe Biden has a low IQ. I think Kim said that. I agree with Kim. So he's basically agreeing with Japan's enemy and bringing our politics to their country.
And you're legitimizing something he said.
Right. And he's just, and I'm sure Japanese people are like, what? Who cares? What? Why?
I challenge both of them to take a head-to-head IQ test.
Oh, but he's a stable genius.
I know. I just want to see it.
Something like a stable genius.
Release
would
its
say.
transcripts.
Yeah.
Where's your transcripts?
Transcripts are even like hiding. Like, it's insane, man.
I don't understand
this
how
guy is insane.
I don't get any of it. I don't understand.
know.
Look, you could get my transcripts.
Yeah.
I feel like you could probably just go ask and maybe pay a paper fee.
Yeah.
I graduated with a 3.5 from Weber State.
Really? 3.5?
That's my That's my transcript in
I
psychology.
graduated with a 2 point. What's the minimum?
I don't know.
I think it's 2.7. I think I had a 2.7.
I don't think that's the min. I
But
think people,
no, I think the minimum's 2.0.
Yeah.
Which it might have been. I don't know. I ceased to get degrees, man. That's where I'm at.
It's true. It doesn't say on your diploma.
No, it doesn't.
You know? I actually thought it was disappointing. I went to pick up my cap and gown, and I thought I worked really hard to get to 3.5
Yeah.
because it was 3.5 even.
Right.
Because I thought that was honors.
Oh.
I went to pick it up, and they're like, "Oh no, 3.6 is the."
Oh.
It's like, you sons of...
I didn't even go to my.
Why did I even try?
I didn't even walk. I just don't want to go back there ever again.
I'd go back. I like school.
Whatever. It's fine.
If someone paid off if they paid me to go to school, I would go.
I guess, but I personally don't really learn anything in the classroom situation. I
Yeah.
decided it's just not.
It's not how
It
you
doesn't
learn.
work well for me.
Well, you
Everything-
create e-learning, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple of deep questions here that we get to talk about.
Deep question.
The first one is about women
Okay.
and soccer.
Okay.
So
They should not go together. I'm just going to say it right now. I'm just kidding.
So the World Cup, there's the U.S. men's team that can't ever make it, and then there's the U.S. women's team
That wins
that
it.
wins it.
Yeah.
So here's the dilemma. The U.S. women's team gets paid less
Way, way less.
than the U.S. men's team.
Like, do you know the numbers?
I believe they were talking about the bonuses here, and I think 1 point something million for the women and 5 for the men.
Each?
So these are performance bonuses. 5.375 million World Cup performance bonuses paid to men's team for losing in a round of 16 in 2014, and 1.725 million World Cup performance bonus paid to women's team for winning entire tournament in 2015.
So they get more for losing than the women get for winning?
Right.
Well,
So
what's your question?
here's where things get kind of dicey for me when I don't know where to land on this situation.
Yeah.
Apparently, I don't have any numbers. I couldn't find any numbers in this, but apparently men's soccer gets way better viewership than
Yes.
women's soccer.
No doubt.
So I kind of I kind of went to this other comparison, the WNBA, which still exists. I didn't know that, but it does.
Utah got rid of their team
Oh,
a few seasons in. I think.
they get paid substantially less. Like
it's not even a
it's-
living
yeah,
wage.
a lot of the time it's not. But they have like no viewership.
Right.
So especially in comparison to men's basketball. So you can't pay women's basketball $30 million a year. You can't.
Right. They're
Right?
not bringing in that revenue.
So that's where I kind of
It's a larger issue.
well, it is. I mean, me personally, I know that there is a wage discrepancy here in Utah. We have one of the worst, but I haven't personally seen it in any of my jobs that I've ever worked.
Let's see. I think all
And
of-
maybe it's just the industries that I've been in, but I've never really In fact, a lot of the women, most of them got paid more than me. So, I don't know.
So let's see. When AT&T is such a big company, first of all, if you're a rep, you're bargained by the union, so everybody's paid the same,
Right.
and based on tenure. And as management, it's pretty much just set as a schedule. So you know what I mean?
So,
But,
that must be where the discrepancies are. It must be
It's
in
in
the upper CEO realms and stuff, because it's not in the because
It depends on
normally
the business. It depends on the size.
You're correct, but like most big companies are on a pay scale,
Yeah.
and they don't really deviate from that pay scale. Like my job, if I went and asked for a raise, they'd be like, "Well, you're max. You get paid what you get paid."
Right.
It doesn't. We don't do that
Right.
And most companies I work for are like that.
Right. Well, this is why the problem isn't being solved, is because anecdotal evidence speaks louder than the statistics.
Right.
And the statistics are very clear. They've controlled for every other variable in these studies. Every variable's been accounted for. Women get paid less for the same job with the same qualifications, than men. So, but there's other things that I look at, like I worked for a packaging company.
Yeah.
And all of the salespeople were men except for one.
Right.
Yeah. And all of the customer service people were women except for one.
That was I've encountered that a lot too.
And I'm like, they're not less smart. They could go, if anything, they're working harder than the salespeople.
Oh yeah.
It's
just
but they're making way less, way less. And so they're different jobs, so they'll never be compared. But the question is, why? I know that there's more male applicants, and I'm not advocating for a quota or anything. But it just speaks to the larger issue of why are women not drawn to sales jobs, for example.
That's maybe. See, well,
Generally.
that kind of goes to in my opinion, at least, that maybe I don't know. You remember? I think it was last year. There was a movie being shot, and they had to do reshoots.
Yes, the Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg thing, right? And it.
That was like a blatant example.
Yes and no, but at the same time, Mark Wahlberg's people negotiated. Her people didn't, or she didn't. Whoever it was, they didn't. They just took whatever, and that happens a lot. And I'm kind of the same way. Like when I go into a job, I'm just happy to be there. I'm like, yeah, pay me what if it's a job that I want, And as a woman, that may be the situation where they're like, I'm just happy to be here. So, and then later on, they realize they're getting hosed.
Well, here's the deal, though. So I work in an industry where I can kind of, for the most part, I can choose my margin. And if someone I'm working with is too ignorant to understand how the margins work, I could easily take advantage of them, just like the woman in the movie.
Right.
The problem is they shouldn't have to.
Right.
Because what was she got paid like $50,000 and he got paid like $1 million.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
No, it was.
But
as an employer, if
well, no. My point is, like, I'm in sales, and it's not just me. I'm encouraged to don't take advantage of people.
Right.
For one thing, that's just not part of our culture. For another thing, they're gonna find out eventually.
Right.
And then they're never gonna work with you again. Because you screwed them.
Right.
And I saw this happen when I worked at the packaging company too. I inherited a lot of accounts from a salesman who we called it got caught speeding. He got caught just with blatant, just crazy margins. And the customer found out and was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I had to go and try and rectify those relationships.
Right.
And go in and say, "I understand that he did this. I'm not him. We have a lot of freedom." In that job, I chose my margin all the way. I had like minimums that I had to get signed off, but I could go at any margin I wanted. And so he would go crazy high. The customer would find out. He would lose the account. We'd lose to the competition. Then they'd send me in to try and restore the relationship.
Right.
And I'd go visit these people who hated the company every week for a year, just to try and be friends with them.
Right.
Just to get a tour. So the point is, with that example, with the movie example, is why did the studio feel like that was even okay?
Why?
Like,
so are you? Would you be in favor of maybe taking this negotiating off the table? Like, just say, here's. Because I personally don't really care for the negotiating. Like, I just think, but the thing is that the companies would never go for that because they want to get away with paying you as little as they can.
Right.
So, was it fair for them to do that? Probably not ethical, but
in a true capitalist
right.
free enterprise. But from an ethical standpoint, you would say, look, I understand. Thank you so much for not fighting us on this reshoot because of Kevin Spacey.
Right.
You know, however, we're paying Mark $1 million, so we're gonna pay you more. You know.
Yeah, that would be the ethical thing to do.
Yeah, I mean,
Actually, the ethical thing to do would have been for Mark Wahlberg to just do it for whatever instead of being a douchebunker and charging $1 million for like a day's worth of work.
Right, for like a little, yeah. That was a tough one. But you know, for entertainment, you talk about soccer.
Right.
Athletes are entertainers.
Oh yeah, for
You
sure.
know, that's really all they are.
Yeah.
There's nothing. They're role models in terms of their work ethic.
Yeah, I guess.
But in their personal life, usually not.
Yeah.
You know, with the exception of Roger Federer, who's a saint.
Uh-huh.
You know, I just think you have to be real about that. And it's funny to bring up tennis because Venus and Serena Williams fought for a very long time to make the prize money equal in tournaments.
Oh, okay.
And they actually have a case, except for one area, and I'll get to it. During a tournament, yeah, the men might get watched more on television, but they're all played during the same time, you know. So you could go from a men's match to a women's match while you're just watching whatever.
Right.
You know, they kind of flip back and forth. It's scheduled, so you know when the men are playing, know where the women, but every once in a while they'll skip back and forth. If there's a rain delay, they might replay a women's match when a men's match is. But the point is that one I can kind of understand, except for the fact that in Grand Slams, the U.S. Open, French Open, Australian Open, and Wimbledon, the men play 5-set matches. So they're way, way longer.
Okay.
Like almost double in length of time. So the length of changeovers, of timeouts, whatever, any commercial break, there's more commercials during a men's match because they're longer. Women play 3-set matches. So I understand, and I agree that you should be paid equally, but then why aren't you playing 5-set matches?
Right.
You know, and it doesn't make any sense to me.
No, yeah.
In terms of endurance sports, are men superior?
Well, no, I wouldn't say so.
Because tennis it's an endurance sport.
I know, but I mean,
And I've seen women's matches go really long.
I don't if that's I don't want to like sound
Well, no, it's tough
because
there's like
I wouldn't say that because it's not like they're playing. Men and women are different, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so regardless of how long the men's endurance lasts, the women's like. If a woman was playing a man, it would be different. But they're playing each other, so they should be on a fair. So it shouldn't really.
I've never understood why the women only play 3-set matches in Grand Slams. The rest of the year, everyone's playing 3-set matches.
Oh,
It's only in Grand Slams that the men play 5 sets.
is it up to the men? Is it maybe to make more money? That's why they play 5.
Well, they're not now.
Oh.
Except for Roger Federer is way more wealthy than Serena Williams, even though Serena Williams is probably the best tennis player to ever live. Right. You know, she's won more Grand Slams than Roger. You know what I mean? She came back from having a child and won a Grand Slam the next year. Like, it's crazy, you know? So I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I'm just saying that in terms of advertising dollars and stuff, they're playing shorter matches.
Right. Well, no, that's understandable.
And so it's the same thing with soccer. The world is just too sexist, man. And frankly, if you flip to a women's soccer match,
well, if I flip to any soccer match, I'm
you know, like you're watching little people run around on a green field. You know, I've never noticed a huge difference between women's and men's soccer in terms of entertainment. I just know that the world is way more involved in the men's, which the world is just super sexist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what you would do to solve this issue. I mean, if you can't pay them this if the viewership is that much lower. There's not a lot you can do about that.
Right. It's an anecdote to spread a message.
Yeah.
That is true, but one that doesn't really hold water when you start to kind of analyze it, you know? I mean, I totally believe there's a wage gap. For whatever reason, you bring up negotiating. They do
Right.
studies about that men are better at asking for raises because they're less afraid of blowback,
Right.
you know? So they do those kind of things. It's like, well, men ask more. Well, why? Why do men ask more? What have we done?
Well, that goes to the culture of
Right.
that women are treated poorly. I mean, because you get a woman that comes in and asks for a raise, like, oh, she's bitching again. You know,
Right.
we're gonna just get rid of her.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that
Like,
so
at least that's how the woman feels.
right, correct.
Yeah.
So they don't want to ruffle any feathers as much as the men do, because the men see themselves as indispensable, or
Right.
whatever, even though they're not. They're completely replaceable. Everyone is.
Everyone is. Yeah. It is weird though. When I read those, and maybe it's something as simple as a testosterone thing.
Maybe.
You know, I don't know, but those are some of the reasons people give that men make more is because they ask for more. You know, it's like, well, okay, if we know that, then can't we change that?
I don't like that. I don't like that they ask for more, so we give them more, and everyone else gets screwed over. I kind of just think everyone should get paid the same.
Yeah. No, and I
And
agree.
if you're underperforming, then maybe you
Right. It's just when they do these studies, people who are opposed to or don't believe in wage discrimination, right, will use those studies as an example of why.
Right.
And that it's actually just.
Uh-huh.
You know, instead of saying, well, what does that speak to a larger issue in our culture that women don't feel like they can ask for more? Why? And if I'm an employer, how can I change that? You know, I want women to feel empowered when they work for me
Right.
instead of little. So it's a tough one. Dog's in the room.
The dog just came in. He's got some things to say. Very interesting. Very interesting.
He heard us talking about women's.
He's got high opinions on,
Yeah.
and actually they're really negative. I kind of regret putting him on the. I didn't know your dog was so
So
sexist.
sexist. Yeah.
All right. Well, I have another odd question here.
Okay.
It's not quite as divisive as the last one, but I was thinking the other day about living in a simulation. No, I wasn't, but I actually, well,
Odds are.
I'm serious.
Odds
Do
are.
not do that when you're trying to go to sleep. You will become a crazy person.
You got like freaking writing in blood on your wall. Doing the math.
Oh, anyway, I was thinking about technology in general and where we are. Well, I think I was thinking about aliens again and all the reasons why they probably wouldn't come here because we're terrible.
Aside from the horrible pay of women's soccer.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the main reason. But I was thinking that that every society or generation has like a big breakthrough invention. But then I was thinking a lot obviously has changed, in the last couple thousand years.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Couple hundred.
well, yeah, but at the same time, it's all the same. And I was thinking about cars, right?
Yeah.
Cars, they have changed a lot, obviously, but the concept is still a horse-drawn carriage.
Right.
We even still call it horsepower,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the cell phone has come a long way, but the core concept is still a telegraph,
Right.
essentially, right?
Even if you took about the telephone.
Yeah.
Like it's right there.
Yeah. And then, so I was thinking the last big breakthrough maybe we had that was a core concept was an airplane.
Yeah. I've thought about this before, that every invention now is just building on something else,
Right. So what is the last thing? And I guess you could argue the internet.
I was going to say that. What we should do, let's do this. We'll go back and forth, and the other person just plays devil's advocate.
Okay.
Okay. an MP3 player.
Well, an MP3 player, it's the same as a record player, or, I mean, really, you could go all the way back to it just being a band. Like
A jester
yeah.
that just follows you around?
Kind of.
All right.
You know what, though? That could be the phonograph. Is that the first?
The first one was that weird, like, wax cylinder.
Yeah, that could potentially be a core concept invention because it is different than anything else. You've never had a way to play back music before then.
Or record anything.
Right.
Which I think the first one, I can't remember now, but I think the first one was it Edison?
Probably.
That he recorded, like, his voice.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
And played it back.
So that could be one.
Okay, so that's in whatever 1870s.
Yeah.
No, it was I don't know when it was. So okay, go ahead.
What do you think about movies? Film,
That's just a play on a play,
right?
which
We've been telling stories for a
Forever.
long time.
We've
It's
been
just
telling
the
stories,
way
yeah,
that
but
we do it has changed.
before we could talk,
Right.
we were telling stories.
So movies just a cave drawing.
Yeah, the pictograph. Yeah, for real. Or like hand shadows. Dude, who do you think the first person was to wouldn't that be crazy if you figured out
Do a
hand shadow?
hand shadow.
You're like in the cave wall doing the butterfly.
Oh my god.
Okay. How about, man, I've thought about this one. A gun.
Oh.
So when did
Well,
like a blunderbuss,
think-
like a musket, when
I
was
think
that?
you would have to go back to bow and arrow because
Yeah.
it's the same concept. Now, whatever, I don't know what if anything preceded the bow and arrow. I don't think.
An atlatl and dart. You ever seen an atlatl?
Oh, okay, that's the core concept. I think is shooting a
a
projectile,
spear.
right?
A spear.
You can throw a spear. So
It's like they combined blunt force trauma, like killing a rabbit with a rock,
Right.
versus an arrow, and that's what the gun is.
gun is just a more advanced form of rock throwing.
Yes, yeah. I mean, they were balls to begin with. You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't until the Civil
core
War
concept is throwing a projectile or
with intent to do harm.
right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they had like an atlatl Olympics.
Right.
You know, this guy's super accurate.
I guess the computer in general.
Dude, I was just reading about Alan Turing. I think
Yeah.
it was another this day in history.
Turing. That was the first.
First computation device.
I mean, I guess you could go back to an Atticus or
Yeah.
just counting in general.
Like a sundial. It's kind of a form of
Yeah, I guess.
geometry.
Yeah.
But yeah, having a machine do it for you though.
Right.
Yeah.
But then that could also, you could say that the phonograph was.
Hey, okay. Nah, you'll prove that one.
What? I don't
I was
know
gonna
what.
I was gonna say steel.
Metal? Steel?
Yeah.
I don't know. When did steel come around?
Industrial Revolution. All of our buildings got taller and
Yeah,
more
but-
structurally sound.
I mean, isn't steel just a better form of bamboo? And,
Yeah, TP.
and-
I had to see. I told you you'd prove it wrong. Yeah.
It's just a building material.
Yeah, it's just a lean-to. I mean, yeah. The greatest invention is fire.
Well, yeah. Energy. I mean, that was.
Electricity. The light bulb. But that was a
I
play
guess-
off of a lantern. Everything.
That's true.
Everything
Yeah,
that-
you're right.
So the question is, what's something that's been invented that wasn't
There's
making
only
something easier?
there's only going to be like honestly, if you were to really do it, there's probably only going to be like 5 core concepts, like
right.
light, transportation,
Thinking.
Yeah,
I want to think about this easier.
protection.
Oh yeah, like defense,
Yeah,
weaponry.
yeah, and
I mean, the internet is a big one. But It was just a communication tool.
It's just a different way of reading or communicating or learning
Right.
things.
Instead of
isn't it?
putting a guy on a horse and taking a letter to someone.
Right. It's just a different. Now the printing press, no, because that's just a better way to write.
Writing in general.
Yeah, that's probably a core concept.
Written language. That's crazy.
Yeah, that is actually pretty crazy that someone came up with
Writing.
that.
Letters, numbers.
Yeah, that's kind of freaky.
Yeah. What crazy, beautiful mind did that?
It was probably ancient aliens.
Yeah, aliens gave us language for sure. We were just like building pyramids. And
But yeah, think about it. Let us know what other core concepts are out there. As I just think that's interesting. It was cars that really got me thinking about it because I was like, cars.
Well, I think
What's the next big thing? Because in our generation, there's been a lot of advancements, but no new core concepts.
Right. And I think we've talked about this before, that every new invention is spurred by either war or porn.
That's not untrue.
With the exception, we might be onto something with the plane, though.
Yeah.
The Wright brothers, I don't think, had the intent of dropping bombs on people.
I don't think so. They just wanted to fly.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything. I don't think I've read anything that said they had any. I don't even know if they had any monetary.
No, they probably died poor. I don't.
Yeah. Well, no, because they had a big aviation company that got bought by somebody. Anyway,
inventions, man. It's all just obviously that's how inventions are made, just to make life easier.
Right.
Sham wow.
The sham wow guy. What did he just get arrested for?
Oh, it was a few years back. The hooker bit his tongue and wouldn't let go.
What a great thing to get arrested for.
Any invention, you can take it right back to fire. I think that's basically where we're at.
Probably.
Yeah.
Fire and weapons and porn. What do you think the first cave drawings were?
Yeah.
Dude, I nailed this chick last
She
night.
looked like this stick figure.
Whoa! All right. When we come back, we've got random headlines. I don't remember what they are.
Maybe pick a number.
Yeah, probably pick a number. That'll probably be it for us today.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we'll be back.
Hi, I'm Ashton Kutcher. Have you ever killed a dog while driving drunk and then been upset that there was no way for your car engine to cook it for you on the rest of the drive home? Well, those days are over, thanks to Dr. Lee's Pet Engine Cooking Bag. Just put the dog in the bag, place it over the engine block, and drive your usual 20 miles per hour over the speed limit. Bow wow. I'm Ashton Kutcher, and remember, Dr. Lee's Pet Engine Cooking Bags are not meant for babies, but they can be used for babies.
This is the Our Take Podcast. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to bring you these random headlines.
Yeah. Uh-huh. I gotta pull off.
I had an invention in my mind when we went to break,
Yeah.
and it went away.
Oh,
Yeah.
dang it. I gotta pull off some of those clips from our last episode. Randy
man.
has a lot of...
Yeah. Do you remember learning about simple machines and complex machines? Like the wedge,
Yes.
the screw,
I always remember things about screw, but yes.
the pulley, the incline plane.
Oh, I like that
The
position.
simple. What are the simple machines? All of the simple machines.
Peg.
Peg.
Block.
What- yeah,
Triangle.
I remember these, but really, a screw is just an incline plane on a wedge, right? I remember learning that.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to go into the room and incline wedge?
Wheel, a wheel, an axle, a lever, which
Ooh.
is basically just a wedge upturned with a plank. I don't know why did we learn about these?
I don't know.
And a simple machine is when
Why
you
do we
put
know,
two or
man?
more together.
Why did we learn about this and not credit scores?
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of learning things and credit scores, a teen looking for arrowheads got a big surprise when they found a prehistoric mastodon jaw instead.
Where?
This is in Iowa City, Iowa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
They need a little scale ruler by that. But I mean,
Yeah,
you
you're
can kind
right,
of tell
you're
with
right. Well,
the
yeah.
plastic. I mean, those are molars. They're probably like what, the size of a.
It's a 30. Okay, so it says it's a 30-inch bone belonged to a juvenile mastodon,
Juvenile.
Elephant-like wow, elephant-like animal apparently is something that I struggle to say. Believed to have roamed Iowa. Just Iowa's so.
It's just such a rude thing to say. There were people in Iowa before it was called Iowa. It's probably the Navajo Nation.
Anyway, he gave it to I don't know say if it's a he or she. They gave it to the University of Iowa Paleontology Repository, which now has possession of the bone. They say the mastodon stood around 7 feet tall. That's it?
What's the difference between a mastodon and a woolly mammoth? They both have trunks.
Don't know.
I think a
what
mastodon
there
is smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But they both have tusks. They both have trunks.
So do elephants.
Yeah, well, an elephant is a,
I don't know. I guess I just thought they were the same, but
science has been teasing us for years about bringing the woolly mammoth back.
I know.
And I'm pissed.
wish they would just do it.
Like
They found so many of them, and
if we go to the moon again before we have a woolly mammoth,
well,
and they're not. I love how I put woolly in front of it. Like that's.
now
man.
I don't want just a mammoth.
It's
It better
gotta-
have some wool on
It better
it.
be fucking woolly.
Like
or
a
I'm
lot
gonna be
of
pissed.
wool. Like enough
Yeah.
to clothe a third world country wool, all right?
You know what? This has happened to me a couple
I
times.
want a sweater made out of mastodon wool.
A mammoth sweater. This has happened to me a couple times lately, and it's bugging me. And I can't think of the other example, but I Google Mastodon, and it brings up the band. Okay?
There's a band?
There's a band of Mastodon. But if I Google Mastodon,
I'm not looking for some crappy 80s band.
Google
called
should know
Mastodon.
I'm looking for the animal. You know? I Googled something else the other day.
That happened to me the other day, too. What was it?
It brought up a band when I Googled it, and I was like,
I was
damn
looking up some sort of a weather terminology, and it brought up a band. I was like, no, I don't. What?
Cumulonimbus.
Yeah. They're touring this year with the White Stripes.
Freaking Mastodon, man. Available on Apple Music. No, I'm looking for the animal, the badass animal.
Speaking of badass animals, are you ready to see something that will just kind of freak you out?
No.
So, there's not a lot of information about this, but someone has picked up a video of a lady in Norwegia.
Next to Germania in Prussia.
In Berlin.
Berlin.
The Berlin raccoon. Anyway,
Berlin.
A woman in Norway. Okay, I guess she posts this kind of stuff to her Instagram account. I guess she thinks she's a horse or something.
She thinks she's a horse.
I guess, but she posts videos
That's cool,
of
man.
her running around like a horse.
Okay. So she's just on her hands.
Wait.
Does she gallop like one?
Yes.
She's figured it out?
I don't know. It kind of hurts my brain to watch.
Wow. She looks like a galloping horse.
Yeah. It's.
Oh, and she's got the... Have you ever seen... What's that Schneider movie where he turns into an animal?
It's called The Animal.
The animal. You know, at one point he's like running and he gets down on all fours and
Yeah.
he starts... That's what she's doing.
Yeah, it's freaking kind of...
And it happened on that new movie, Glass...
Look.
Oh my gosh, she jumped over a picnic table.
Jumped over a table.
On all fours. Yeah. So, you got to post this now, or otherwise we'll forget. But it happened with that movie with James McAvoy and Samuel L. just came out.
Oh, the Glass?
Glass. He does that at the end.
Really?
He runs like like the animal, like Rob Schneider.
Man,
That's impressive.
it just hurts my brain. I just want to know why she does that. Or
I want to know how she does that.
yeah, that would hurt me so bad.
She's galloping like a horse,
Yeah.
and she jumped over a picnic table, like equestrian style. It's like parkour, the new parkour.
Yeah. Well, actually, it says horse maning is the new planking.
Horse what?
Horse maning?
Maning?
I don't know.
Oh, man. I'm going to walk around like a mastodon. I'll tell you what.
All right. The last one, the last random headline here, it's called, I haven't watched it yet because I wanted the reaction to be. But the headline is Cow Squirts Projectile Poop on Farmer.
Oh, man.
I didn't even stand a chance. So I bring you Cow Squirts Projectile Poop on Farmer. I didn't even stand a chance.
No, man. No. Oh.
Ew.
It's not as bad as you think.
Yeah, I thought it was
But
going to
it's
be
pretty
way
bad.
worse.
He's what, a good 3-4 feet away.
Yeah.
Gets her right in the face.
Yeah.
Dude.
It
funny-
it wasn't like a stream though. It was just like a bullet of poop, just like bam,
Yeah.
like directly, just.
Do you
boom.
remember the first time you saw the video of the guy getting sat on by the elephant, and his head goes up to the elephant's,
Yeah.
and you're wondering how that guy lived? I don't understand it. How do you live through something like that? Like,
I don't know.
and would you even want to live after that? After
I don't want to be alive anymore.
you're the guy who had his head up an elephant's ass, weren't you?
I could smell it.
I was at Hogle Zoo once growing up, and have you ever seen a hippopotamus clean its butt?
Maybe.
They have like the little
Maybe.
squirrely tails, right?
Right.
And they flick it around like a propeller,
Oh yeah.
and it like cleans up their butt.
Yeah.
We were at the hippo enclosure,
Hippo Coliseum.
Yeah.
Hipposeum.
and we were sitting on a bench further back, just taking a break.
Uh-huh.
I can't remember. I was probably like 10, you know. And there's these other people who are leaning against the rock.
Dwayne.
Yes, Dwayne the Rock Johnson was there. They were leaning against the rock wall that made up, the enclosure.
Right.
And this hippo turns around, and you just kind of hear this, and it sounds like a propeller, like a silent propeller.
Is that hippo about to take off?
And all I see is people like doing like the arm bar of their face,
Screaming.
Yeah, they were covered in green shit, like just chunks on their like foreheads. A bald guy had hair again, like their shirts. It was all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
And I know that he did it on purpose.
Well, yeah.
He turned around to not face them, to butt them.
His other face.
Yeah, just, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's crazy. Anyway. All right. Are we at pick a number?
Yeah, we can do
Let's see
pick
how
a
many I
number.
have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 articles that I've posted to our shared note that I've wanted to talk about, but we haven't had time. So pick a number 1 through 9.
9.
Okay. Let's see what this is. I can't even remember it.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it.
Oh.
I can already tell you.
Okay.
Alabama strikes down new bill
Oh, come on.
that would provide support for women denied an abortion. Okay. So what this is,
Wait, hold on. Just
turn it up,
Just a
like
minute.
way up.
abort. We hate you. Abort.
This could be a fair abortion update.
Okay.
So because of the abortion ban in Alabama,
Right.
the liberal arm of their legislature,
Uh-huh. Like 2 guys?
it's actually 2 women.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Senator Linda Coleman Madison. Yeah. She proposed a bill that said if you're going to force women to have a baby by preventing them from getting an abortion, then they should be given assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They struck down a new bill that would provide free prenatal and medical care for mothers who had been denied an abortion. The vote failed 23-6.
Wow.
The bill's response to the universal abortion ban intended to support expecting mothers with at-risk pregnancies. She asserts that Alabama doesn't provide substantive education. The child is born and we know the mother is indigent and she cannot take care of that child. We don't provide any support systems for that mother. Now, this goes to every meme you've seen pro-abortion lately where it shows, like, I think I saw one the other day where it shows two kids swimming. Mm-hmm. One kid is, like, playing with a woman and having fun.
Okay.
And the other kid is, like, flailing around and drowning.
Uh-huh.
And the label is unborn fetus on the kid who's having fun being taken care of. And the one who's flailing, it says, like, the 500,000 kids in foster care.
Oh.
Good point, right? Mm-hmm. So this is what she was proposing. If we're going to have all these children born to mothers who you will not afford an abortion, then we should probably give them some sort of care and the child some aftercare, because we know the moms probably aren't going to be able to do it.
Right.
They could be on drugs, they could be slow, anything.
Right.
They denied it.
Of course.
The white men of Alabama. Once again, this is going to be, there's going to be a name for this time. Like when you talk like Jim Crow.
Oh.
There's going to be a name.
Era. What is it going to be?
I don't know, probably like the Kavanaugh.
The Trump era?
I mean, we'll see what the Supreme Court says. I think the Alabama bill already got struck down by a federal judge, by the way.
I thought it was Indiana's.
It's one of them.
Yeah.
They're all being fought.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court goes into session in October through June. Mm-hmm. So we'll see if they take it up or not. We'll see. They will leave us on pins and needles.
Oh, this is fantastic.
But that's not really appropriate, Stewie.
Oh, of course it is. I loathe that know-it-all flea-bitten mutt.
No, it's just that the meaning of that word has changed ever since President Douchebag.
Thank you. I just received a call from my worthy opponent, Senator Date Rape. No, he ran a good campaign, but the people of America have spoken, and they're saying they want 4 more years of douchebag.
I don't know why. When you said senator, it made me think of that. Yeah. Senator Date Rape.
What are we at? Do you want to hear another one?
Sure.
Okay, pick a number 1 through 8.
8. I'm not very imaginative tonight.
Let's see. 5 takeaways from 10 years of Trump tax figures. So, if you remember right, from 1985 to 1994, someone leaked Trump's summary page.
Oh, right.
It was 1090. What is it called? 10
DW40?
WD40? Mastodon? 1040 easy. 1040. Let's see.
Is it called easy because it's easy?
Easy. Yeah, I think so. I'll just read them one by one here. Mr. Trump was deep in the red even as he peddled deal-making advice.
Most people are.
So while he didn't write this. He had a ghostwriter, Trump, The Art of the Deal.
Well, yeah.
Which ghostwriter has since come out and said he was completely full of shit. In fact, 2 of his ghostwriters have said that, by the way. Google it. He was broke. And he lied and inflated all the different costs of his hotels and shit. Anyway. Mm-hmm. Number 2, in multiple years, he appears to have lost more money than nearly any other individual taxpayer in the country.
Wow, that's impressive.
He bought Eastern Airlines shuttle for $365 million. It never made a profit. He spent more than $7 million a month to keep it flying. His new Trump Taj Mahal Hotel and Casino opened in 1990 with more than $800 million in debt. $800 million in debt on a casino?
That's improbable.
In New Jersey. Sucked revenue from his other casinos, and then they closed it. His core business lost more than $250 million a year in 90 and 91. Number 3, he paid no federal income taxes for 8 of the 10 years.
Oh.
He paid no federal income taxes for 8 of the 10 years because he claimed losses. He rolled those losses into a $950 million free pass.
Jeez.
He made millions posing as a corporate raider until investors realized he never followed through.
Yeah.
So he's Ponzi. Number 5, his interest income spiked in 1989 at $52.9 million, but the source is a mystery. So he claimed that he made $52.9 million on interest of his assets, but didn't say where it came from.
Huh.
I don't know why you would do that. I was sure that there's some loophole that one of his accountants had.
Ugh.
Let's see. I don't know why, but the article just ended. Oh, that was 5 takeaways. I thought it was 10. There you go. That was on the New York Times.
Well,
Trump's a liar, never paid taxes, never will.
He's our guy.
May he burn in hell.
Anyway, he's our guy.
Senator Douchebag.
No, it's Senator Date Rape. President Douchebag.
President Douchebag. 4 more years of douchebag. Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Find us at the Our Take Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Please like and subscribe. Share it with your friends, your family, your coworkers, anybody who
will listen.
For episode 54, I'm Bryan.
I'm Spencer. See you next time.